Is it anger tonight or is it just sadness?
It's just a really good frickin' hockey team that you come up against. Wasn't for lack of trying. Couple of posts. Um, the Smith with a couple of lucky saves, got a couple off the shaft of his stick, and then just a couple of lucky bounces their way, and then two, one really nice goal in the third there. That was a bad play by Joshua coming over the blue line. Tried to pass it backwards to the side with that standard breakout play that we've hated on all year. Hit Hedel in the shin pads and goes back the other way, and Robertson's wide open to tip that one past Lankinen. So, tough game all around. Didn't like the line shuffle moving Höglander and Sherwood with Petey, especially after last game. That was a weird move. I didn't mind putting Bluger back with Garland and Joshua. That was fine, but 5-on-5, Besser and DeBrusk look very disengaged. They shouldn't be playing in a third line role if you're expecting them to be your offense. I don't know why they're not playing with Petey. Just a weird game overall. I think Tocchet was outcoached by DeBoer. He was looking for answers and couldn't find any.
Elias Pettersson, -3 tonight. Worst on the team.
Yeah. Very costly face-off loss there on the Granlund goal late in the second period. And he was being put out there with Sherwood and Höglander. Is a tough night for him for sure. I'm not going to deny that. It was a tough night for the whole team, really. They all looked frustrated. Tyler Myers thought he made a good defensive play, gets called for holding. Mm-hmm. You could see the frustration. Pettersson showed it when he lost that faceoff, and Granlund scored at the end of the second period. He shot the puck against the rear boards, but Dallas is very stifling. The way they can control the puck in the third period there, they really just knew they had the lead, and you can see why they are a cup favorite. The way they're built, and they're missing two of their best players in Hintz and Heiskanen.
I thought we were going to get out of the game without Rantanen getting a point. He had to get the empty netters, so there's that. Well, and the thing is, at the end of the day, too, the Canucks actually turned things on in the faceoff dot, but it's very similar on the opposite side of the coin. Petey winning that faceoff a couple games back, where a couple seconds left, 1-goal lead, you win that faceoff, game's over. But same thing happened tonight. The opposite result, where Petey doesn't win that faceoff, and all of a sudden it's all the way down in their zone.
Yeah, and the Canucks had the majority of the shots in the game. They did push
the hits, Dustin. 36-12.
Yep.
They only had 6 giveaways. You were talking about it in the first period. They only had 0 giveaways after the first period. They only had 6 in the whole game. Dallas gave the puck away 22 times. The Canucks were generating turnovers.
Yep. Yeah, but if you have to throw 36 hits, this is one of those games where the Canucks had to throw that many hits because they didn't have possession of the puck. Like Dallas is really good at keeping it away from you. And their giveaways aren't in high dangerous areas. They're giving it away in the corners or giving it away in the offensive zone, but they reload so well. You saw it really well in the third period there. Hedel tried to press hard with about 3 minutes left, and there were all 5 Dallas Stars were collapsed in front of DeSmith. There's absolutely nothing that they were giving up in that third period.
Yeah, so the Canucks' logic tonight is that DeSmith won because he's our former goaltender. So, of course, he comes in here and beats us, right? It's like, oh, great, we get Dallas on a back-to-back, but oh, crap, we're playing against our old goalie. So that means we'll probably end up losing. I want to give Rick Tocchet a little bit of crap, and I think you might agree on this, but the fact of the matter is, in the last probably 10 games, I'd say, there's been a real problem with the Canucks losing faceoffs in their own zone and then it going into a quick set play that ends up in the back of their net. That's got to be on Coach Tocchet, right?
Yep, that's on coaching and systems. But I mean, at the end of the day, he'll say it's on the centerman for losing those faceoffs. he'll say we have to do a better job of winning the important draws, and he'll deflect it. But when we win, he'll take the credit. That's Talk It 101.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. You hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. So your players should be aware that generally in the history of the NHL, it's about 50-50 for faceoffs. This is essentially a damn coin flip. So you have to be prepared for whether you win it or whether you don't win it.
Definitely. And we saw that against Utah as well with those tip plays off of lost faceoffs. And it's similar now. We've talked about it in the past, how the offense does not have a hard time coaching against the Canucks. They're very one-dimensional, and it's frustrating. I don't see the logic behind burying DeBrusk and Besser on third line minutes. I mean, DeBrusk played like 7 minutes in the first 2 periods total. Like he was supposed to be the big offseason signing to help boost the offense, and we're seeing them deployed in a third line role, and it just doesn't really make a lot of sense.
The only thing I can wrap my head around, and I've been thinking about it because we've been talking about the line setups for a while, is DeBrusk, Besser, and Petey. They're all three guys we want to score goals. So I wonder if maybe Talkett's having a hard time putting three shooters together, because at this point we're trying to get Petey to shoot more. And if you put him on a line with DeBrusk and Besser, he's probably going to defer the puck to those guys to shoot the puck. Is there a different, like, I like Sherwood and Petey together. Is it maybe we look at doing like Sherwood, Petey, Leckermacki instead, or do you not want to break up that Rocket line?
I don't mind breaking up the Rocket line. We talked about the lines that I do want to see, and it is Leckermacki, Besser, and Petey together. Mm-hmm. Those three. I wouldn't mind shuffling the second line a bit because they didn't really do a ton tonight. Yes, they're fast, but they're almost too fast. They kind of need a trailer that can slow them down, and maybe DeBrusk with Hedl and O'Connor, and then you put Leckermacki with Besser and Petey, and then you have it more balanced in that top six. I just really am fed up with the reactionary changes that Talkett makes. It, like, just because Höglander was showing a lot of energy early in the game and pushing and grinding and getting involved in the scrums and stuff doesn't mean you need to bump him up to the first line. It just means he's doing a good job as a fourth liner. And I think Talkett panics a lot when he's coaching, and instead of just sticking to the lineup and staying with it, like, we're game 62 here. Like, we need to find some sort of he complains about not being able to find consistency. Well, these guys can't find consistency because they're playing with a different freaking line mate every night.
Well, you'd be excited to know that because the Canucks lost, they'll probably have a completely different lineup for the next game.
Exactly. And like that, championship teams aren't shuffling their lines after 62 games. It's like we had 2 good games in a row, and then we start to see a little bit of adversity in this game, but it was still a good game, like an evenly matched game. I didn't see the need for the line shuffling. And it's just that constant stuff. It's you could see that it caused some confusion and out of position plays that led to the loss. And I just don't I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but I just don't see it getting any better unless he just kind of starts letting his offensive guys do what they need to do.
Felt pretty good to see Forward score, though.
Absolutely. You love to see a guy get one after 82 games, and it's been almost 2 years.
First goal is a Canuck. Good patience to wait and just wait. The Smith sliding across and then putting it far side. So definitely happy to see Forward get at least one for the Canucks tonight. Before we go and talk about the Abbey Canucks, let's quickly have a look at the Dustin Boydell 3 stars of the game, and we'll compare them to what they gave out tonight.
Okay, what are we looking at here? I would assume we got Matt Duchene in there somewhere, yep. Mikhail Granlund for getting the game winner, and DeSmith didn't really have to do a whole lot, so that third one's a mystery to me. It could go anyway. You could give it to Forbert for getting his first in 82, or you could give it to Harley, I guess, for just getting one. I don't know.
Yeah. Granlund didn't get a star tonight. It's because we're not playing in the States, so they don't just give it up for the winning goal.
There you go.
So it was ended up being Duchesne, who was all over tonight, which was,
Yeah,
he was
he was
great.
everywhere.
2 assists, first star. Harley ends up taking the second star, and he not only did he score that goal, he was also just like his usual defensive self, moving the puck out of his zone really quick. And then they did give Derek Forbert the third star of the night for his first goal as a Vancouver Canuck. So very close.
You love to see it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah, like I said during the game, I'm just happy to see Derek Forbert in the lineup getting a chance to score with how, the year was. It's about as bad of a start to the year as you could possibly have as a hockey player and as a human, right? So
definitely. Yeah.
So the Abbey Canucks will bring the mood up a little bit. Good news, bad news. Can you maybe give us give me the bad news first.
So the bad news is we ended up giving the Barracuda another point.
Yeah.
When we are chasing them in the standings, we're trying to run them down. They are one position ahead of us. But we did manage to get the victory in overtime last night, thanks to an incredible effort by Linus Karlsson late to help tie it up late in the third, and then get the OT winner in overtime, getting his 18th.
Good to see a comeback win, because those boys looked like they had some passion in that game, and they definitely fought to get back into that game. I watched the highlights, and good puck movement all around. The lines looked like they were all moving well. And then who ended up getting the I saw the player of the game ceremony. I guess the Abbey Canucks have like a vest they're handing out these days or something like that. Did you see who ended up was it Jet Wu who ends up winning the player of the game, I think?
I think so, yeah.
Good to see.
But for the 3 stars overall, though, like Linus Karlsson ran away with the first star. He had the 2 goals and an assist on the power play in the second period. Max Sasson had a shorthanded goal in the second period to get the Canucks on the board. They fought to shorten the lead to 3-2 after 2 periods. Made it 3-3 in the third. Went down on a penalty kill. Artur Shilov's shot the puck over the glass, trying to play it, and Barracuda ended up scoring on that power play to take the 4-3 lead. But Karlsson was able to get one with about 3 minutes left to tie it up, force overtime, and 3 minutes into overtime, Karlsson was able to bury the victory with the assists going to Max Sasson and Christian Wolanin.
So the Abbey Canucks, are they still sitting in a playoff spot if the playoffs started today?
They are currently holding on to that 6th spot, but they are now 4 points behind the Barracuda. They lost, obviously, the first game, which put them behind. I had thought they were closer, but Barracuda must have had a game in between there that I missed. So yeah, the Canucks are 4 points behind the Barracuda, but still 2 points ahead of the Tucson Roadrunners, holding on to that last playoff spot in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, coming up on a back-to-back next week, Tuesday, Wednesday out in Abbotsford. So lots of Canucks hockey this week, because obviously the Vancouver Canucks are playing 4 games this week. And the Abbey Canucks are playing 4 games this week as well, as they'll be playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Sunday. So there's going to be 8 Canucks games in 1 week, which is pretty wild. That's some jam-packed schedule. Yeah, easy. Speaking of Shilovs, he's probably going to look like he's going to have to be used, isn't he? Because the Canucks, like I said, they're playing 3 games in 4 nights right now. They got Montreal on Tuesday, and they got Calgary on Wednesday. If you're Rick Tocchet, who are you putting in? You're putting Shilovs in against the Habs or the Flames?
Probably putting him in against the Habs. Because Lankinen has had a bit of a workload, so it's probably good to give him that night off. And then against the division rival, where you absolutely need that victory against Calgary, when you're battling with them neck and neck for that wild card spot, you're going to want Lankinen in the net.
Yeah, if you give up points to Montreal, you're not going to be as hard done by. But obviously, still now the Canucks are sitting outside the playoff picture, looking up at Calgary, so that game becomes even more important on Wednesday.
Absolutely.
Montreal, I another young team full of piss and vinegar coming up on Tuesday. Are we expecting kind of a more open, freewheeling game, or we'll coach the fun out of that game as well?
Hard to say. I hope we see a little more open freewheeling. I mean, that is kind of the style that St. Louis has coached those young players to play. A little more offensive, and so you'll see them giving up more odd man rushes as well. So hopefully the Canucks are prepared to capitalize on that offensively. But again, we'll have to see what kind of game plan they are asked to execute by their coaches.
We'll have to get all of our good fancy French swear words out for Tuesday night.
Absolutely, we'll make a list.
Are you going to be around for the first period for that game, brother?
Yeah, I'll be around on Tuesday for sure.
Cool. And then on Wednesday, like I think I mentioned to you too, my cousin lives out in Calgary. He's a Flames fan, so he'll be joining us during the second intermission. So that should be pretty fun to have somebody in the Saddle Dome that night.
Right on.
Cool, brother. Anything you want to say to chat before I let you go?
Tough loss tonight. I know the big top six did not look great tonight, but that is a cup favorite team that we went up against. Very tough defensively, so try not to read too much into it. See if we can regroup and get back to the way we were playing the previous two games and get a victory against Montreal on Tuesday night.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Dustin. Enjoy the rest of the night. We'll talk to you on Tuesday.
You as well.
Nothing is perfect.